Okay, 3 things you want to do when you have patellar tendonitis, okay? Number 1, you want to train that tendon at length, okay? That's where you want to build capacity up. That's where the injured tissue is. With that being said, though, you can't be doing a lot of like weighted stuff like Bulgarian split squats, lunges, deep squats, hack squats, sissy squats even. Because it's your, if it's a sissy squat, you got your body weight, 180 to 90, 200 pounds coming on your knee at length, and then you still have an eccentric, meaning that lowering phase, right? And eccentrics are what's going to cause even more inflammation. So those are going to be no's. But again, you do want to train at length. So what can you do? I would start with a lot of isometrics, okay? So you can still train hard. Train your hinges, your deadlifts, your RDLs, your hip thrusts, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't put as much stress on it. And then you want to put stress on it, but you want to do it with something like this at first. And then maybe like banded quad lean backs are going to be your best friend because it takes a lot of the weight off as far as like a sissy squat variation. But this is, obviously you need something a little bit higher up. This is a little low, but you'll get the point, like the cap stretch. And then tuck your pelvis under, really tuck it. Lean back, get a lot of knee flexion, but keep your pelvis pushed forward to really get it at length. And then you want to push as hard as you can, ramp it up into the couch, okay, to give it a big, big contraction, a lot of force at length. And then you want to hold that for like 10, 20, 30 seconds, pushing down, and then you want to try to lift up, don't move. If anything, try to rock back deeper into knee flexion, but push the hip forward more, find more of a stretch, and then really contract the hamstring, that regressive side angle. Hold that for 10 to 30 seconds, and then see if you can get more of a stretch, find more tension at that quad at length, which again is putting the knee in more flexion, which is loading that tendon a little more. And then you'll repeat, do like 2 to 3 sets. Okay, so we showed the quad, the calf stretch. Wall sit's gonna be great. Load them down, load them, go single leg, make them hard. Again, it's not gonna be as much at length, so it's not gonna cause as much inflammation. And there's where you can load your stuff heavy if you are still trying to get an input into the knees besides just hinges. That's gonna be a good place to start, lunge holds, stuff like that. And then as it gets better, then you can start adding eccentrics back in, just start with them light. And then you wanna do a lot of joint moves. This is the one I was talking about. Way more reps than you think. So you can do this one, do some with it toe turned out, heel turned in, rep them out, full range of motion, then do some with the heel turned out, toe turned in. To be an internal rotation, do it in like a hamstring curl, and then do it for the quad. Toe turned out, heel turned in, heel turned out, toe turned in. And really rep them out. Do way more of those than you think. I mean, ideally around 1,000 reps a day, which is a lot, okay? I'm just giving an example of an extreme, but you do want to do way more than you think. Lots of sets of 100. You can do those every day. And then the last thing I would do is, because every lift you do is going to train like the same tissue, meaning that we just keep training those linear lines, I would do some kind of tibia rotation input. So this is where you would lock it onto something like this, and then keep your foot flat on the ground, and then spin your femur and body around until you can feel a stretch on this one. Because I'm trying to go in with the tibia, right? My toes turned in. I'm gonna try to keep right around until I feel a stretch on the outside lateral part of the knee. Right now I feel that pretty good. You're gonna have to just keep playing with it and kind of bend your knee and rotate your femur around it. And then I'm gonna push into the wall, or I'm gonna think about spinning the ground this way. Hold that contraction, really pushing in the ground, try to spin the ground. Obviously the floor can't move, that's why it's nice measured. Relax, and then you're gonna try to spin the ground the other way without moving your body at all. Just trying to turn this tibia, this shin bone, and then you see if you can wind it up more. That would be tibia internal rotation. Then you can do external rotation, same concept. Keep that knee in line with the ankle, and then you just wanna rotate around it. Right there, I can feel a stretch on the inside of my leg, okay? So I'm trying to take my body this way around it until you feel a stretch on the medial part, so I can show it without it blocked. You can feel maybe if these shoot up slide, get a stretch a little bit. Ideally, want something to block it so the foot doesn't turn, but I'm going like that. And I'm gonna try to spin the ground this way, and then spin the ground the other way. 10 to 30 seconds, holding both ways, and try to torque it more. I can feel a stretch on the medial side. That is another good one to do, just because it trains different lines in the same one over and over, which is what's kind of causing it in the first place.